Hey guys, what's up? I'm Erin and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of Open Money, where we feature real people talking about their personal financial journeys. On this episode, we are speaking with Eva Marie. Now, Eva Marie has a unique perspective that is going to be unique for many in this audience because predominantly this channel targets Americans. But Eva is from and lives in Europe. So let's hear about her journey.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Erin, for this opportunity to talk to you. My name is Eva. I'm from Spain, and I'm a Gen X, 47 years old. So here we go.
Well, thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous. So first thing to say, sorry for my accent. I'm from Spain, so if I say something or you cannot understand me, just let me know, please. And second thing, I'm European, so I live in Europe. I live actually in Germany. So from here, maybe your viewers, the people that watch your channel, will say, why are you interviewing an European when in Europe they don't have a Roth 401k or Roth IRA? They don't have all these accounts that you have in the States.
Mm-hmm.
Well, things here are completely different, like in the States, and it's a way to compare how people in Europe do in comparison with the States. So, for example, as you said, these accounts, tax shelter accounts for you, available to you, they are not available for the people living in Germany, France, Belgium, Luxembourg. There is something similar in the UK, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada, and maybe another country that I don't know. But here is another world.
Yeah.
So,
well, how do you approach saving for the future? What do you do?
Most people don't save for the future. They have children and they expect their children to look after them.
Okay.
I know that sounds very hard, especially the Europeans from the South, where I come from. So I'm single, I don't have children. And most of my friends, what are you doing? You don't have children, you don't have a pension.
Oh, okay.
But your children are not going, you don't have children, who is going to look after you when you get old?
Yeah.
There's nobody there for you. So in the south of Europe, the family is really very important. So in Italy, Portugal, Greece, Cyprus, and so on. So the people are you base your future on your children and grandchildren.
Okay.
If something happens to you, they are going to be there for you. They have to be there.
Yeah.
They have to. So, but if you don't have children, you are in a very insecure position. In the north of Europe, center and north of Europe is completely different. People usually they have private pensions, or they try to arrange everything in advance. Like, for example, I know some people that they put money aside for if I need to go to a nursing home when I get old. And when it comes to pensions, you have two things. The governments, the pensions from the governments after working a certain number of years, or your private pension. You build a private pension, or as I'm doing, I have a couple of private pensions with my employees, about a previous employee and my actual employee, but it's not a lot of money actually.
Do all governments and do all companies offer a pension of some sort?
No, pensions were very common back in the past, in the 70s and 80s, but companies completely stopped offering pensions to employees after 2008.
Okay.
After the crash in 2008. I was lucky that I was working for a couple of companies before 2008, and I got two pensions from these companies. But after 2008, new people going to these companies, they don't offer a pension. So it's quite hard.
Is it becoming more common for people in Northern Europe to start saving for their future then?
No, all the way around. People are just getting more and more into debt. Before, debts were only for a house and a car. And now you have people in debt for furniture in the house, for trips to other countries. No, it's the other way around. People are just getting more into debt.
Now, am I correct to assume that people who live in the southern part of Europe, there's a lot of multi-generational families living together?
Well, you're not living together, you are living close by.
Okay. I didn't know if, their children were their pension, so to speak, if they would be back in with their families.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, for example, in the case of my parents, I live in outside Spain.
Mm-hmm.
My parents are in Spain, but my brother and my sister, even though they are in Spain, they are living away from my parents. My parents are a little bit on their own if something happens.
Yeah.
Or what happened, for example, back in 2010, my mother got very sick. And I had to stop. I had to go to my employee at that time. I was living in Ireland. And I had to go to my employee, tell them, look, my mother is sick. My father can look after her 1 week a month. I need 1 week per month to look after her. And later on another week will be my brother. And another week will be my sister. So you have to arrange with your employee if they accept this or not, and go to look after your parents. Yeah.
Okay.
So in Spain, it's exactly the same. When the family is not around, when the children are not around, you feel obligated.
Okay.
Because it's the culture to look after your parents. So you have to take time off, or someone has to stop working to look after your parents, or if not, this is not a possibility, you bring your parents to your apartment or to your house.
Yeah.
What happens to us when my grandparents, the parents of my father, got very sick, both of them. So we were living in Madrid. At that time, I was a teenager, and we had to bring them home in a 75 square meter apartment.
Yeah.
7 people.
Oh, wow.
My brother was sleeping in the sofa. I was sleeping in a small room with my sister. My grandparents were sleeping in the room of my brother, and my parents on the other room. So,
goodness.
Yeah, you have to look after them. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
So that's the pension for the people of the South. The people of the North, they don't expect their children to look after them. So my German friends here, they don't expect, the ones that they have children, they don't expect their children to look after them. So they put some money aside, as I said, in private pensions, and they pay things, insurances, to pay for the future nursing homes, which is one thing that in the South is not done. In the South, you always count on the family.
Gotcha.
Yes, so it's completely different.
So now with you not having kiddos, how are you preparing for your future?
Well, I have to invest.
Okay.
I have to invest. I decided to open a brokerage account in 2020.
Okay.
Yes, because I was saving money, and the bank was calling me, what are you going to do with this money? It's not giving to you any interest rate. The interest is 0.01%.
The bank actually called you about that?
Yes, they call you because they want you to invest either in properties. I'm working in Luxembourg, living in Germany, but working in Luxembourg, that is only 7 kilometers far away from where I live in. They want you to use that money. What are you doing? The money is here, you're sitting in your account doing nothing.
Yeah.
They want you to invest. They want you to sell their investments, first thing. They call you thinking, like, you don't have the clue. We sell you these investment funds. What do you think about investment? No, leave me alone. I want to put a big lump sum of money. And if the market crashes, I will put the money into the market. So, and that happens in 2020. By the way, I'm an accountant. I'm working in the fund industry as fund accountant. I am still an accountant, working for 20 years with investment funds, a little bit of everything, from mutual funds, pension funds, hedge funds, umbrella funds, UCITS funds, anything.
Yeah.
So I was working at that time when the market crashed at the end of March, and I was like, yes! So I decided to invest everything, a lump sum into the market.
Okay.
Like that, when everything crashed. So it turned out pretty well.
Yeah.
But of course, I didn't invest for a very, very long time.
So was 2020 when you started investing completely?
The second time that it started invested. The first time I started to invest, I was 18.
Okay.
And it was 18 years old back in 1993. I began to do small jobs here and there when I was 11. So I was earning a little bit money here, a little bit money there, and I was putting everything into my saving account because that was the 80s. And at that time, the interest rates in saving accounts, especially for children, they were very good. I wasn't paying any fees because I was a child. My father had those accounts open for us, but I was putting my little money in there.
Yeah.
And the interest rate was great in the 80s. It was 15%.
Oh my goodness.
Interest rate in the savings accounts.
I think
of course, the inflation rate was brutal in Spain at that time too, but we had 15%, but the interest rate began to fall. So the bank called me at 18, well, call my father, not to me. They call my father and they say, look, your daughter is going to turn 18. She's not going to be able to enjoy these commission-free accounts for children, so she has to do something with the money that has over there. So my father came back home, and my father was investing in the stock exchange, and he saw me funds. What do you want to do with this? The bank gave me a list of funds that they have. I say, 1993, internet is the future, everything into the internet. So I took 5 funds, 5 mutual funds.
Yeah.
And the 5 of them, they had the internet something in there. Yeah. So I put all the money there. My father thought, you are crazy. What are you doing? The internet, what is that? This is just gambling. Invest in bonds.
Yeah.
And I was like, 18 years old. Sorry, my hands, I'm moving a lot. My hands is
That's
very
totally fine.
What are you doing? Investing in bonds. Invest in bonds, not in funds of internet. What's that? What's that? What are you doing?
He sounds very conservative.
A boomer. My father is a boomer. Yes. So normal. Bonds. Yes. Something simple, not complicated, don't complicate your life, and of course, 18 years old. That here comes in, here goes out. So no. So I had kind of a little fight with him, and my mother said, no, let her. She's very stubborn. She's like you. So let her to do it. If she loses the money, she will learn the lesson. So I put all my money there, and I was very happy. Everything was going up and up and up and up and up. The dot-com bubble. So my idea was to use that money for the university.
Okay.
So at 18, I finished high school. I didn't go directly to the university. I did something else. I did 2 years of accountancy. And after the 2 years, I went to the university. And even though the university in Spain is very cheap, the fees are really, really cheap. And I was very lucky that I was living with my parents. There's another thing from the south of Europe. Children, they live longer with their parents. They don't kick it out of the house. You're 18, you go to your own. No. Yeah. We live longer. And first, for economical reasons. And second, is the tradition that until you don't get married, you don't go to live with your future husband. Yeah. You live with your parents until you get married.
Gotcha.
So I invested the money, and my idea was to use it for the university because my father, very conservative, and because my parents, both of them, they were born after the civil war in Spain, and they know very well what is to live in poverty. So they say to us, look, you are 18, you are in theory an adult, you can live at home, you can contribute at home, but I'm not going to pay for your studies, even if it's something cheap. I'm not paying. Wake up, learn, go on your own, stay home, but you pay for everything you want to do. So I say, perfect, great. So I began the university, and of course, living with your parents close to the university is cheap. For people in Spain living outside the area with that university is very expensive, because if you want to send your child to the university, you have to look for a room, rent, and so on. So it's the parents, they have to save well in advance to pay for that. Or the children, they have to work during summertime, doing whatever, to save money to pay for those fees, university fees and university expenses. Yeah. So that's it. I went to university. Later on, I had the opportunity I wanted to go outside Spain to study for 1 year outside. I was looking at the beginning to go to Chicago, to the university there in Chicago, because I wanted to go to economics. And at that time, Chicago was the best university of all. But of course, that was very, very expensive. Very expensive. I was looking for a grant. I even went to ask to the Rotary Club the Rotary Foundation. But I couldn't get the money to pay for everything. So I got a place in a university here in Germany, and I moved to Germany. So I took of my investments that was back in 1998 already. My investment were really very up. So I decided to sell 1/4 of my investments to pay in advance for everything. To pay in advance for the room, open a bank account, put the money in there, and so on. So basically, my savings were to pay for the university. I came to Germany. I was studying here in Germany. But in February 1999, my father called me to tell me that a family member was in economic problems, had some big economic problems, and that family member could go into prison. Because in Spain at that time, if you don't pay your debts, you go to prison. That's it. There is no bankruptcy for people. There was no bankruptcy laws for physical persons like you and I. No, you don't pay. You have signed a contract. If you don't give the money back, it's like you are stealing from that person or that corporation or bank or whatever. So sadly, I had to sell everything to pay for the debts of that person, of my family. So I was left with zero. I had to find a job as a student. I got a job in Audi, for a factory, 3 months. And with those 3 months, I was able to pay for the rest. So that's it. So that was the end of the investments. Later on, I went back to Spain. I decided to buy few shares, no funds, shares, individual shares in airlines. And then 9/11 happens. And the airlines tanked. And that's it. I didn't sell anything. I decided to my father, sell. No, leave it like that. Let's see what happens. And all this time I was working, finishing my studies, went to Ireland, to live to Dublin in Ireland. And in 2005, I sold the airlines because they went back to the level, the same price that before 9/11. I said,
you broke even.
The same price, I recovered something. I'm studying a master. I need the money for the master. I sold the shares, and that was the end of the investment trajectory for me. That was the end. So that's it. So I didn't put any money. Let's start over again.
So now, could you speak to like what your goal is, when you expect to be able to retire, or what do you expect to hope to attain as a net worth by the time you get there?
Retire.
Oh, is that a different concept?
No, it's not a foreign concept. I would love to, if I can, retire early at 55.
Okay.
If it's possible, with $500,000 in the portfolio. $500,000 in liquid assets. I would love to. And you will say, $500,000, that's not enough money. That's very little. It's not even 1 million, and you need 1.5 million. And excuse me, I want to retire in Spain, in the village of my family, and you have the family around. You don't need that much money. Everything is very cheap. You have your social network around. Maybe my parents, they will be older if they are still around. I hope so. But at least you are living with your cousins, aunts, uncles, and children of your cousins around. So there is people around you. No, they won't look after me 100% because they have their own families, but at least
you still have people nearby. It makes
having people nearby. Exactly. Something happens to you, your cousin can take you to the hospital or something like that. Yes. At 55, if not 57. 57. But of course, I have to take into account that I want to get my hands as well. I don't want to. We pay a lot of taxes here in Europe, and most of the taxes go to healthcare and pensions from the government.
Would you say what percentage of your income goes to taxes? Because I'm curious of that.
Well, I'm lucky. I'm working in Luxembourg. And at the moment, the government has decided to give us tax credits thanks to the inflation. So I'm paying a little bit less than the rest of the Europeans, but I'm paying at the moment 30%, which is not too bad.
When those tax credits aren't in place, what does it look like?
Those tax credits are it's called energy tax credit.
Yeah.
And it's something new, and it depends, it's a percentage of your salary.
Gotcha.
So 1% of your salary is deducted. So you don't pay that, but it's only for a short period of time until March next year. So March next year, I will go back to the 37% that I used to pay. It will go up another 7%. In Germany, you can pay something between 37% and 52% of your salary.
Okay.
And in other countries, it depends how much you earn. So in Ireland, it depends. The minimum is 20%, it can go later on to 40%, 60%. And in Spain,
is it a progressive tax system? Like in America, if you make, let's say you make 30.
In Ireland, yes. In Ireland, it's a progressive tax system. And in Germany as well. In Spain, no.
Okay.
In Spain, it's 50, between 50 and 52 is flat for everyone.
Gotcha.
50 and 52, I don't remember. I'm not working there since 20 years ago. So what my friends are telling me is between 50 and 52%.
Are your investments, if you draw on your investments, is that considered income and is that taxed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Capital gains are taxes in most European countries, except in Luxembourg.
Okay.
Which I have my investment in Luxembourg, so it's great. For the moment, the moment. In 20 years' time, I don't know what will happen.
Yeah.
But at the moment, capital gains in Luxembourg, if you hold your assets for more than 6 months, is zero.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
In Luxembourg. In Luxembourg. Later on, every country is different. So for me, at the moment, it's more convenient to have everything in Luxembourg due to taxes than I don't have anything in Germany. I don't have anything in Spain, apart from an old house.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Now, you said you did a lump sum investment in 2020. Do you focus on saving like a certain percentage of your paycheck every month?
Yes, I save the minimum that I used to save before when I was living in Spain and living in Ireland. It used to be 1/3 of my salary.
Okay, that's a great
so 30 or 33% saving first thing ever. So it's not spent and later on if there is something left. No. Save first and later on you do whatever you want with the rest. If you cannot pay your bills with the rest, open your eyes and try to increase your salary or try to do something to earn more money to pay your bills. But saving comes first. At least I learned that from my grandmother. So this is what I do. And now my savings rate is quite high. It's 70%.
Oh, wow.
70,
that's amazing.
70%. Yeah.
Now, I know in one of the comments that I read from you on a video, you said you bought your house outright.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, but it's an old house. It's 300 years old.
Wow.
You cannot live in that house. It's a country house. You cannot live. No. It has been empty for more than 20 years. Nobody was there. There is no heating. The electricity system is from the 50s.
Yeah.
There are problems with the roof, and you cannot. From my point of view, it's derelict. It's a derelict house. It's a house you cannot live in. It has to be restored.
Okay.
So I'm saving as well for that.
Gotcha.
For the future, my idea is to retire at 55, 57 with $500,000 in assets, in liquid assets, plus another amount of money to restore that house.
Okay. And that's the house you'll move to at that time?
Yes, to my retirement home, I will say, yes,
gotcha.
in the country.
Okay.
Yes, that's it.
So now do you live in an apartment?
I'm living in a house in Germany that is divided in 2 floors.
Okay.
The first floor is my neighbor downstairs, and the second floor is me.
Okay.
It's like a small apartment, yeah. It's from the 1909, the house.
Do you own that or do you rent there?
I'm renting. I'm in Germany, and the people here in Germany don't own in general. It's not traditional to own your place. So the percentage of ownership of houses or properties here in Germany is the lowest. In Europe, it's 51% of the people own properties. The rest are renters.
Okay.
So the other 49% of the population rent.
Okay.
So I'm renting. So yes. But there are no protections for renters. So
what I'm very curious about is like, what does it look like when you earn your income and how you spend it? Like, what percentage does rent take up? What percentage does food take up? Just because it's an entirely different country, I have no concept of what it would look like.
Percentage, wait a minute, I have to move to Excel. Percentage of the house. From my expenses is around 52% of my expenses, but over my salary is only 14%.
Okay. Would you be able to speak to what your income looks like and what certain costs look like?
Yes, my income is not only my salary plus bonus, plus we get in Luxembourg something called lunch vouchers. So the companies, they give you like a check to be spent in restaurants or in supermarkets to buy food.
Okay.
And later on, I have dividends as well.
Do those lunch vouchers, do they cover all of your food expenses or do they just help with it?
They help a lot.
Okay.
They help a lot. They help a lot. But I have to spend them in Luxembourg, not in Germany. In Germany, they are not affected. They're only for Luxembourg.
Gotcha. Okay.
So total income after tax, 4,480, more or less.
Is that in euros?
In euros, but at the moment, you know, the $1 at the moment is $1, €1. So you can take it like the same 4,480 after taxes.
Yeah.
Later on, the expenses, essential expenses, so rent, bills, food, 1,254. Discretionary expenses, things that I don't need, but I use spend here and there, €75. Savings, 3,151. So saving rate, 70%. Yeah.
Wow. Like, I'm kind of like in awe that you're paying rent and everything and all your expenses are around 1,000. Like, how is rent just incredibly affordable there or? Okay.
Yes.
I was like, that doesn't seem like something you could do in America, honestly.
No, I'm just taking advantage of geo arbitrage. How do you say in English?
Geo arbitrage. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I'm working in Luxembourg, paying lower taxes, income taxes and taxes in general, paying only 30% at the moment. My salary is way higher, 2 or 3 times higher than in Germany. And I live in Germany where prices of everything is 3 times cheaper than in Luxembourg.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yes, it's only 7 kilometers, but there is a difference. So at the moment, for me, it's better to rent than trying to buy anything because it doesn't make sense. So that's why everything is so cheap in Germany in comparison with Luxembourg. If I was going to be in Luxembourg, one studio, you can be paying for one studio apartment over 1,500. For one studio apartment.
Wow.
If you want one bedroom apartment, it's 2,000, and from there it goes exponential. So
that
really
to me sounds
high.
More like American prices.
Yes.
And it's very hard to find someone in America who's not spending 25% or more on their housing. And I know that there are people who go to 40% or 50%. And I know that can make budgets run very, very tight, but like rent.
In my case, I taking advantage of the difference of countries. And a lot of people that are working in Luxembourg, they do the same. Either they live in France or in Belgium. So living in Luxembourg is only for the people from Luxembourg, Luxembourgese, or people that they have to live in Luxembourg because they are not Europeans. For example, I have a colleague of mine that is from Serbia. And Serbia is not in the European Union, and he has to live in Luxembourg, where he works. He cannot live in Germany because what he's doing here without a job in Germany. He cannot get a contract, a rent contract or anything because he's not European. So he has to pay the price. So he has to live in Luxembourg. So this kind of, people that come from other countries, but they say, commuting every day. No, it's not my thing. Commuting, I prefer to pay the price than to commute 3 hours a day to to do the round trip, to go from one place to another, back and forth.
Didn't you say your commute was only 7 kilometers?
It's 7 kilometers to the border. To my work is 1.5 hours away.
Oh, okay. That is quite a commute then. Yes.
To go. Right.
Yeah.
And another half an hour to come back. And I take the public transport. I take the train usually. I don't want to take the bus because you never know what is going to happen in the motorway. If there is an accident, it's raining, it's snowing or something, because it can be completely chaotic when you take the bus or your own car. It's very expensive, especially now with the problems with the neighbors here, Russia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that honestly, a lot of it's just fascinating, just because it's just a different perspective. Yes,
I know that for your viewers, they will think, okay, nothing to do with the Roth IRA, 401k, 403b, HSA. What can I learn from an European? So at least from my point of view, budgeting is essential, having a budget. And second thing, save before spending.
Yeah.
Saving. If you don't have enough money later on, you are hungry. In Spain, we say that the hunger makes you more intelligent.
I like that.
Well, it's not the direct translation, but my grandparents used to say that because they lived through the war. So if you wanted to eat, you have to open your eyes. What can I do to have money to buy food or to eat? So it makes you more intelligent. It makes you to look for opportunities around you.
Yeah.
So well,
I think saving before you do anything else, no matter where you live, whether it's Europe, America, Canada, it doesn't matter. I think that's kind of indispensable advice, because it makes sure that you're okay and that you can take care of your future.
Yeah. So that's it in general. So
anything else you would like to share?
Oh my goodness. Where did I learn to save money or do a budget and these kind of things? Is within the family. People speak about it. People speak about money. Here in Europe, people don't speak about money.
Okay.
Nothing. And what I have observed in comparison with the Americans is Europeans are very jealous. Well, so you cannot say, not even to your friends, because I had the bad idea of telling when I moved to Luxembourg. I have friends in Frankfurt. I went to visit my friends and they were asking me, how much are you going to earn in Luxembourg? And I say, happily, at that time, 10 years ago, 50,000. Yeah. And they were like, what? And they began to make comments that were not really very nice. And I was like, hey, guys, what's going on? What's your problem? If you want to earn more money, you know what you have to do. Leave Frankfurt and go to Luxembourg.
Yeah.
So what's your problem? People are in general a little bit jealous, yes. They don't want to look at what you have to do to earn more money. They are not, sadly, I don't know, maybe it's the culture in Europe, you know. When you have a nice car, the people, well, I'm going to scratch your car, rather than thinking, what should I do to have a car like that?
Oh, gosh.
It's completely different. Yeah, I know it sounds very strange to Americans, but that's why people don't share anything about money. Or if you want to share something about your personal finance, you have to be very, very, very careful.
Okay.
The person you choose to talk about this with or to share this with. So you have to find someone that is like you, or there's kind of the same mentality. And in my case here in Germany, I have found that the people I can talk about money easily are business owners, or as I say to you before, chief executive officers, all people that were in high positions and they like to talk about money.
Yeah.
These kind of people, yes. But the rest, no. Not even with your friends, because you never know what they are going to comment about you, or maybe they are going to be a little bit jealous, or come to you and say, oh, you are earning a lot of money, you are saving. Can you lend me 1,000 euros, please?
Oh, wow.
Excuse me, what?
I mean, I would say in America, it's definitely not that everyone likes to talk about money, not by a stretch. I mean, there are definitely people who are very tight-lipped and do not want to share anything. I think you have some people who are jealous if people do well. And I think you have some people who are cheerleaders when people do well and encourage them. So I think you have a mix, you know, some people want to talk about it and feel very good talking about it. But I don't know if I'd ever say that there is one predominant approach. I think everyone looks at it differently.
This is my personal experience.
Yeah.
I live in different countries. I was living in Spain. I was living in Germany when I was young, and I still live in Germany. I was living in Luxembourg. I was living in Ireland. I was living in the Channel Islands. But in general, in Europe, no. There is no financial education at all in the school. Nothing. There was not at my time. At my time, back in the 80s, there was nothing. And now the children of my friends, financial education in the school, zero, nothing at all. So if you learn something, it has to be from someone from your family.
Gotcha.
And in my case, it was my grandparents, the parents of my father, because my grandmother was a businesswoman. They had businesses. They have 4 different businesses. And when I was 5 years old, I had to live for personal reasons in my family. I had to live with them for almost 1 year. I was 5. My poor grandmother was over 67, if I don't remember well, 67, 68. So, boom, go to live with your grandparents. My grandmother showed me how to budget, how to do the grocery. No, wait a minute. We are going to buy food. We have to write down what we need. How meal prep, that is something very much in fashion now. Meal prep. My grandmother was, for her was just, this is common sense. You have to prepare in advance what you need for the week or what you need for the month. So my financial education basically comes from my grandparents, my grandmother and my grandfather that lived through the war in Spain, and they were born at the beginning of last century. So it's quite old-fashioned, I will say. For example, I don't like debt. So no debts at all. No debts. So I don't have debt, and I never had debt, any kind of debt. So nothing.
Have you heard of a gentleman named Dave Ramsey? I bet you have.
Yes. I watch his videos. The Ramsey Show.
Great videos, but he's very much his nickname's No Debt Dave. So I feel like you would go along nicely with that one.
Yes, but it's a very, very old-fashioned way of thinking. No debt at all. Not even if you want to use debt to buy a house and leverage the debt and so on. So, but I use credit cards. I have one credit card only. Because it depends on the country. You have to pay taxes on your credit card as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Well, I think that's definitely a different concept than a lot of Americans have, like the idea of buying a house outright or a car or things like that. I think many Americans are just very accustomed to using debt, at least in those modalities, or for student loans or things like that. But
here in Europe as well, you go into debt for a house and for a car. That's the normal thing to do. Later on, for sending your children to the university, it depends on the parents. Some parents, they prefer to save money before sending their children to the university. But in some cases, some people go into debt to send their children to the university. So especially when the university here in Germany, you don't go to the university you want to. They send you to another completely place. For example, my friends in Frankfurt, they have 2 children, 2 doctors. The girls, I don't know if they are going to go to the university there, or they are going to go to Munich or to Berlin, or they are going to come here to where I'm living. You never know. So you have to pay in advance for the rooms, the food, the public transport. The fees in the university is very cheap, but you have to pay that. So but most of the debts here in Europe is used for, as I say at the beginning, it used to be only the house and the car, and now more people are just going into debt for furniture.
It's a dangerous road to go down.
Yes, so Europe is getting more like America.
Gotcha.
Little by little, it's getting more like America. So, for example, in Luxembourg, even if it looks like a very wealthy country, 40% of the population will be poor, completely poor, without the help of the government, without the social services. You know what I mean? So you have to be very, very careful. very careful. And here in Europe, we don't have the bankruptcy laws depend on the countries. So it's very bad. For example, in Germany, the word culpability is the same word used to be in debt. So it's the Schulden is the name. Schulden is the word for having debts, but as well is the word used for culpability.
Gotcha.
So it's ingrained into the Germans, for example, that you shouldn't have debts. And people here, they save in Germany. They try to save, if they want to buy a house, a minimum of 20%. Put for a deposit or even more. I know people that they have put 50%. They save like crazy. My neighbors downstairs, the previous neighbors I had, they were saving to buy a house in a village not very far away from here. They bought the house for 169,000, but they put down 120,000.
Oh wow! Yeah, they almost bought the whole thing outright.
Yeah, because the house needed renovation, so they were thinking, 169 is your house, plus the taxes, plus the solicitors, plus the notary, plus the renovations. Save, put 120, and the rest we have to go into debt for that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh. It's interesting to hear the other perspectives. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you. I was a little bit nervous. Thank you very much.
I think you did wonderful, honestly. I really do. Because I think it's great to hear different perspectives and hear how everyone handles their money differently, and especially in different countries, just because we often don't even have a concept of that.
No. As I said, Europe is becoming a little bit more like the United States of America. People are just getting too used to that.
Yeah.
From my point of view, of course, and from the statistics point of view as well.
Yeah.
Because here in Germany, the government are just opening agencies to help people to go out of debt. People that they are really, really on the border of bankruptcy, to talk to them. And
well, I definitely don't think people should be going more into debt, because that is not something you want to emulate from Americans. Not at all.
No. Well, that's it. Thank you very much. As I say, thank you for having me, and thank you, Erin.
Culture and family has such a huge influence on the way we think about money and how we approach money and saving and investing in debt. And I think that was really apparent here. And I think it was really cool to get a different take on it. What did you guys think? Leave it in the comments down below. If you are interested in being part of the Open Money series, all you have to do is send me an email at erintalksmoney@gmail.com. We can talk about net worths and incomes, your perspective on finance. I would love to feature you. All you have to do is send me an email and we will get it set up. I post new videos every single week. If you got anything at all out of this one, please give it a like. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, or if you know of someone who might get something out of this type of content, please consider sharing. I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye.